Does Spock really feel? We actually get an answer. Stay tuned. Welcome back, TV junkies. If you love talking about the best TV shows and movies, and you know the difference between a phaser and a disruptor, you've come to the right place. And I am so happy you're here. My name is Sean Redman. This is Sean's Take. And today my take is on Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 9, Subspace Rhapsody. So this is your spoiler warning. I will also be using some clips from the show under the fair use provision of the copyright law. So this is all under fair use. So this episode is a landmark episode in that it is, in fact, the first ever musical episode of Star Trek. And we've had some bizarre episodes over all of the Star Trek iterations. We've never sung and danced through an entire episode before. Overall, I think they did a fantastic job. I really do. And I don't tend to like musical episodes. Musical episodes is usually where shows go to jump the shark and head towards cancellation. The best musical episode in the history of musical episodes was Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Once More with Feeling. And I think that's the last episode, musical episode, I think was any good at all. Until this one. They actually did this one justice. And I think the important part is they actually told a story. You know, they stayed true to the show they're doing and continued a story that fit the show they're doing. And at the same time, provided a bit of a context for why they were singing. And that they all noticed they were singing, which is not true in most musicals. Most musicals, they never admit they're singing. But in this episode, they did notice that they're singing and wondered why they were singing. And part of the problem to be overcome in the episode was that they were singing, which is excellent, and it's very Star Trek. And everybody did a good job. I don't know how much auto-tuning we had to do for the actors. I believe some of this cast actually cut their teeth on the stage in musical theaters. I believe Noonien Singh, Christina Chong, is a song and dance person. Anson Mount seems to be, but I'm not sure. Like, he seems to have the vibe. Jess Bush did a really good job. So I'm not sure who, just found out they could do this now or knew they could do it all along and brought it here. There is a surprise cameo that I just found out right before recording this. That when I saw it, I didn't notice the cameo. Well, let's talk about it right now. Because it was the strangest part of this episode for me when Captain Pike turns to the Klingons again towards the end of the episode and they burst into a K-pop tune. Now, others on the internet have been calling this a hip-hop tune. If you think this is hip-hop, you need to go spend some time in an urban environment somewhere. This is not hip-hop. It is K-pop. Heavily auto-tuned with the dance number. I think it's hysterical that the Klingons broke into a K-pop tune. However, the Klingon in command of the Klingon cruiser is in fact played by none other than Bruce Hornack, who was Chief Engineer Hemmer in the first season of Star Trek, who died. Sad. So it's kind of fun to know that that's him. So that's 2 episodes this season that actor turned up in after being killed off. Pretty good. And he did a good job. And he's so over auto-tuned, you had no idea it was him. So that was fun. I should probably get down to some of my notes instead of just speaking extemporaneously, as they say in the musical theater. So at the beginning of the episode, we discover a subspace fold, whatever that is. at the edge of the Alpha Quadrant. Spock and Uhura are attempting to use it to piggyback subspace communication so that there can be faster communication with Starfleet or whoever. They're not having any luck, and Chief Engineer Pella suggests that they use harmonics, maybe music, which is a callback to when Uhura went on her first away mission. She ended up using harmonics and music to communicate with the asteroid. So they try, and what they decide on, Spock gives Uhura the opportunity to pick the song, and the song that she picks to send into the rift is, of course, Anything Goes. They send it in. It produces a shockwave that bounces back across the ship. And from that moment on, people end up, from time to time, singing their innermost feelings, as one does in a musical. And that becomes a problem. And Security Officer Noonien Singh brings this to the captain's attention. It says, this is a problem we have. And she understands that the big problem is that she may sing her innermost feelings in front of James T Kirk, who is on board the Enterprise again. So most of the songs, the big ensemble numbers are great. Status Report, the first big ensemble number, is really good and has a nice pace to it and sort of sets the mood and all of the tone for the episode and things. And other people's songs are really good. So the central theme of the show is finding purpose, and it reminds the crew of their commitment to each other and to Starfleet's mission, and the struggle of the balance between personal feelings and duty. And all of that works really well. When you say a musical episode, it seems like it would just be cotton candy and unicorns. But there's a real story being expounded and told in this episode. So number one's song, Keeping Secrets, in which she sort of helps Lan understand that keeping the secret will be more hurtful than telling the truth, even though telling the truth might hurt. It's very Gilbert and Sullivan-y, which fits, because we've referenced a couple of times that number one likes Gilbert and Sullivan musicals. So she did her little number. Private conversation between Pike and Patel was cute until Lan cuts it off. And it serves to push their relationship towards being a little more meaningful, a little more truthful, because Captain Pike let out that he didn't really want to do the thing that she wanted to do, and he didn't have the courage to tell her that. So now maybe he will. Maybe he won't. And it is funny, we watched the entire original series, and the Enterprise came across other Starfleet vessels maybe a half a dozen times across 72 episodes, where the Enterprise is almost always near Captain Patel's ship. Just saying. So Laan has a song called How Would That Feel? And it's kind of heart-wrenching, and she does a really good, Christina Chong does a really good job with that solo. And it was staged well, it was lit well, everything contributed to it, and it was, a nice peek into the pain that Laan carries with her every day, the struggle that she has every day. So, well done. I really do think the two numbers, the two songs that make this episode worth doing and propel the story for the longest beyond this episode are, of course, Nurse Chapel's song I'm Ready and Spock's song I'm the X. Chapel sings about her dreams are coming true, her life is becoming the one she wants, and Spock notices that he is not part of that. When she thinks of her perfect life, it's not with him. So while she has this thing going well in her life, he sees it the other way. And then, of course, Spock's song, I'm the X, lets us know how deeply Chapel's disregard for their relationship, I'm not even sure what the word is, because I do think she cares for Spock, and I think there is a connection there, but when he finds out he's not as important as everything else in her life, it hurts him. And it hurts him to the point where I think, this is now me just prophesizing, I think this is when he turns toward his Vulcan teachings and towards logic, and becomes more and more the Spock that we meet when he's serving with James T Kirk on the Enterprise later. More stoic, less emotions. And Chapel goes off to meet, fall in love with, and get engaged to, and not marry Dr. Corby. Some viewers question this series' lack of a through arc for its season. And I like this, though. I like that we're more episodic. But even though we're being episodic, we're being thoughtful enough to be able to have items that carry through. So, La'an met Kirk and traveled in time and fell in love and came back and he doesn't remember. That resonates through the rest of the season. But there's not an overwhelming arc of we're traveling through time. I like this. The relationships are carrying through, and they have effects, but we have individual Monster of the Week episodes. It's episodic television. I like the return to episodic television. I don't mind if we do a two-parter like the Menagerie or whatever, but I'm enjoying Strange New Worlds. I think it's the best Star Trek in years. And I like that, the episode before this one was directed by Jonathan Frakes, who, of course, played Commander Riker on Next Generation. So, and it was a crossover episode. So now we eagerly await the conclusion of the Star Trek season with episode 10. So what do you think of Star Trek? Strange New Worlds in general? What did you think of this musical episode? Now, I haven't done a whole lot of Strange New Worlds. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go back and do some of these videos on each episode. Because if the actors and writer strike linger on, we're not going to have too much new content going forward. We'll have to revisit some of our old friends. So I wouldn't mind going back and doing this one if you want to hear it or see it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you liked a couple of these videos, go ahead and think about subscribing so you don't miss any of the other ones. I try to talk about all the best TV shows. Let me know what you're watching in the comments. It might give me ideas for other things that I need to watch. I usually catch up on the movies around awards time. So around the Screen Actors Guild and Academy Awards. I'll do all the nominees. So let me know what you're watching. Let me know what you think. For now, this has been Star Trek Strange New Worlds Subspace Rhapsody. And that's the finale. See you next time.